Oscar Piastri Australia 2001, is a driver who competes for the McLaren Formula One team. 2022, Alpine Reserve. Early success is sometimes not synonymous with immediate reward and has been seen in 2022 with Oscar Piastri. The young Australian had to spend a year without competing after achieving glory in bad timing with his 3 consecutive titles in Formula 1 Euro Cup, Formula 3 and the last in Formula 2 in 2021. Alpine did not have room to raise Piastri directly in 2022, nor were there free seats in other teams on the grid, as it was not an excessively hectic silly season. Piastri chose to remain linked to the Enstone structure as its new reserve driver, in a year in which, despite not competing, he would do many tests and 2 free practice 1 sessions. Before he was at the center of the controversy, Piastri completed 3 private tests with the A521 in Austin, Ozale and Red Bull Ring, and the rest of his 2022 changed completely on August 2. A day after Fernando Alonso announced his departure to Aston Martin, Alpine announced Piastri as an official driver for 2023, a signing that Oscar himself denied shortly after. Given the uncertainty surrounding his future at Alpine, Piastri freely negotiated with McLaren and signed for them for 2023 as a replacement for Daniel Ricciardo. His future ended up being decided in court, in the FIA Contract Recognition Board, which agreed with those from Woking. As a result, Alpine decided to leave the Australian in dry dock for the rest of the year. Despite not having competed in 2022, Piastri's year has not been the calmest by any means. The Australian will debut in Formula 1 in 2023 with McLaren, with very high expectations given his incontestable success in lower categories. Of course, it won't be easy with an already consolidated and mature Lando Norris on the other side of the garage. 2023, McLaren. Oscar Piastri was one of the rookies on the grid, but he was not noticed at all. Although he was far from his teammate, Lando Norris, the truth is that he was one of the best rookies in recent years. He finished 9th in the World Championship, with 97 points and 2 brilliant podiums, in addition to the victory in the sprint of the Qatar GP. Although, as happened to the other McLaren, the car did not favor him in the early stages of the season. In Bahrain he did not finish, and in Saudi Arabia he could not rise from 15th place. The first points, just like what happened to Norris, came in Australia, where he finished 8th, and he had to wait until Monaco to be 10th and add another unit to his locker. But if there is a circuit that saw him emerge, it was Silverstone. He came 4th and, in the next event, in Hungary, 5th. There he gave his first signs that he was taking his time at McLaren very seriously after the abrupt farewell he had with Alpine, in mid-2022. His first podium came in Japan, with a brilliant 3rd place behind his teammate, and ahead of the Ferraris and Mercedes. And in Qatar, he rose to 2nd place, surpassing the Lando, who was even surprised by the collapse of the other car in his box. In fact, a day before, in the sprint on Saturday, he even beat the almighty Max Verstappen, as he finished 1st despite being the newcomer. In the last races of the year, after his deed, he had slightly more discreet performances, but he closed the season in his Marina ahead of Fernando Alonso, and just behind Norris. 2021, Formula 2. Oscar Piastri made the jump to Formula 2 in 2021 and did so with the category champion, Prima. The Australian had a tough challenge ahead of him, since at his side he was going to have one of the sensations of the previous season, Robert Schwartzman, and other pilots from the Alpine Academy such as Christian Lundgaard or Guan Yu Zhou as his main rivals. Piastri went all out from the first round in Bahrain and achieved a victory in his first Formula 2 weekend. After a not-so-successful time on the streets of Monaco and Baku, he took the lead in the competition in Silverstone and did not release it until the end of the season. The one from Prima was strong in the second half of the year and, with 2 victories in Monza and Sochi, he left the championship almost doomed. 2 more wins in Saudi Arabia meant that his crown came in the first race in Abu Dhabi, in which he was proclaimed Formula 2 champion with a 3rd place. The day later, he ended his first and only glorious season in Formula 1 with a 6th victory. Piastri closed a very successful career in the lower categories in 2021. However, it was Zhou, 3rd in F2, who earned a seat in F1 thanks to the Chinese capital he contributed. Piastri will have to wait at least a year as Alpine reserve.